Okay, greetings and welcome to part 3 of this sermon. Some students I have known. So I just have one point left to cover, the dedicated students. So far I've only covered the negatives. I've covered the arrogant and the overconfident students, the irresponsible and bitter students, and the lazy and careless students. And all of these are traits that you don't want to have if you are a good student. So if you're a dedicated student, then you are going to have less of these other negative traits. You're going to be more focused, and you are not going to make excuses for why you're failing. You're going to do your best, and you're going to try hard. And and you won't always be successful. So, um, so first, yeah, let me read this verse, Proverbs 27. I'm going to read out of Proverbs 27 right now. So yeah, there's a lot of verses from Proverbs. A lot of good verses out of Proverbs that cover this. Proverbs 27:23. Proverbs 27:23. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation. So take care of what you have. So even if you're successful and everything is great, you cannot become overconfident. You do not want to become the arrogant and overconfident person, the arrogant and overconfident students. You need to watch your flocks. You need to watch what you have and what God's given to you, and be a good steward of what God's given to you, of all your resources, financial and intellectual, and your talents and everything, all your resources. You need to watch what God's given you. And if you're not, you can lose it. Because, like it says in verse 24, for riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation. The crown doesn't endure to every generation. Saul, that was it. That was the one generation crown. Saul lost it. He did not pass it on to Jonathan. David. David did well. Solomon did well, sort of. Not really, actually. And then, yeah, it passed on, but then the kingdom split. Then so it already, like, you just have like two or three kings in one line, and it goes, it's already bad. And then even when Judah, Judah did have that line through David, and it continued, only because God said, he promised that it would continue to fulfill a prophecy, because he didn't, it needed to work. It needed to stay in Judah, and Jesus needed to be, a descendant, if you want to call it that, of David. Only in legal terms, really, because Jesus is God, but that needed to be there because of the prophecy. But in general, it says the crown does not endure to every generation. Just because your parents are successful doesn't mean you are. Just because they're wealthy does not mean you are. And this has actually been shown throughout history. There have been studies done about like businesses, like family businesses. They usually don't last for more than a few generations. Well, actually, wait, no, they don't even last a few generations. So, like, a family business might pass on to one of the children, but generally it doesn't go past that, because it gets lost. Either they're not interested in the business and they just sell it, or for plenty of other reasons, they don't take it seriously. Usually the founder, the one who put in the effort and worked hard to obtain it, they take it seriously. But then they pass it on to someone else, and it's not the same. Wealthy parents generally spoil their kids, and those spoiled kids are a mess, and they don't know how to earn wealth. They just inherited wealth, and that's it. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to use it wisely and correctly. It just, they just get spoiled. And look well to thy herds, for riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation. Riches are not for so riches are not forever. So the riches won't necessarily pass on. A lot of entrepreneurs that are millionaires, they earn their wealth on their own. They actually put in hard work and effort, and they didn't inherit a bunch of money. So the hard workers, they'll earn it, they'll get success, but then their kids just don't always get that. They end up being lazy because everything's handed to them. So anyway, this concept is here is that nothing's guaranteed to pass on to the next generation. Also, in your own personal life, if you get lazy, just because you had previous successes does not mean you will continue to have success. Because if you get lazy and you stop being dedicated, you can regress and become like one of these other types of students, the bitter, lazy student and all of that, irresponsible. Like, like even in my own personal life, like I generally got okay grades, like good grades, but even I failed a class once in college because I didn't take it seriously. There was one class I didn't take it seriously, and I failed it. So I retook it, and I took it seriously because I'm like, that's bad. I already failed it once. So I took it seriously the second time, and I got an A because and the class wasn't even that hard. It was not even that hard of a class. But because I got lazy, I wasn't taking it seriously. I failed. So if you get careless, it's not going to turn out very well for you. But as if you are going to make a mistake, at least learn from it and make it work the next time. So if you mess up, just to learn from your mistakes. So, so yeah, you do want to be a dedicated student. So the example that I was going to use was for this dedicated student was a student also from the same class with a bunch of all these other students that I already mentioned. This dedicated student. She had seizures. And this was like my first semester teaching at this college, and so I had this student who literally told me at the beginning of the semester that she gets seizures from time to time. I was like, okay. So, and it happened 3 times. So while teaching during the semester, she passed out 3 times. It was very quick, like it lasted maybe like a minute, but every time, you kind of freak out. And there was a certain number I called, and the medics came in and all that. So that happened 3 times. And um, the third time in particular was very interesting because we were reviewing for an exam. So I was going to give them a small review, and then they were going to take the exam, like just a little study session. So this was an exam day. So she passed out on an exam day, and she left the room. The medics came in, they got her. I mean, she woke up, but they still felt like something's wrong. They took her. And she came back like sometime later. I don't know if it was 15, 30 minutes later, I forget. And she said she wanted to take the exam. And I told her, like, you don't have to take the exam. You literally just had a seizure. You don't have to take the exam. And she's like, no, 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 I can do this. I can take the exam. So she took the exam, and I'm like, okay, fine, take it. And she did rather well. I don't remember if she got an A or a B, but she did really well. Like, she was generally a good student. So having a seizure did not stop her from wanting to take the exam. So you see that this is like the complete antithesis to all of the other irresponsible, lazy, and careless students I was talking about. This is someone who has a legitimate reason for not taking an exam. I'm even telling her, like, you don't have to take it another day. And she's adamant about taking it. And she does well, succeeds, did much better than most of the people in the class, despite them, and they should have been in much better condition than she was. But nope. Even after a seizure, she's like, nope, I'm going to take this exam. So this just goes to show there's some people that are going to make excuses, and there's other people who they're going to have difficulties in life, and they're still going to overcome them. They're still going to do whatever it takes. They will do everything in their power. If they can't get it done, then that just means they've done everything they can. They will do everything in their power to succeed. And if they fail, it is only after having done literally everything they could have possibly done. And that is what God rewards. Those are the kinds of people God wants. The people that are focused and dedicated and don't look for excuses for why things go wrong. No, they will put in the effort. They will keep going, regardless of their circumstances. I generally notice, like, my older students, the ones that come back in their 30s to take classes, they're generally the most hardworking. My 18-year-old students, 20-year-old students, they're generally lazy, no work ethic, Now, the thing is, though, the 18, 20-year-olds, they have more energy. And they just got out of high school, and they probably still, they have better they have a better chance at succeeding if they put in the effort. They're just generally lazy. But things are easier for them. Their lives are generally not as difficult. My 30-year-old students or older, they have families, they have kids, and they have a lot of responsibilities. They might even have a full-time or a part-time job. And then they also, on top of that, are trying to get a diploma or degree. And it's very difficult because um, they have a lot of responsibilities and they can't always keep up with the work. So they try. They're much more hardworking. But the problem is they don't always have the time resources. They don't always have the time to put in the effort that they need to succeed, even though they really want to, and that they're really willing to put in all the effort that they can. And um, let's see. So I mean, this just goes to show like it's better to start on the right path at a young age. It's dedication. If you become a Christian at a young age, you can do so much more. You have so much energy. You started on the right foot. You don't have any of these false doctrines or beliefs in your head, any of this brainwashing of the media and all of that. If you start at a young age, you can have a clear mind. People that come to the Lord at an older age, they have baggage. Like these students that I had that came in their 30s, they're hardworking. They have good intentions, but because they didn't go to school first, they did other stuff in life. They started a family first, and then they went to school. They did things in the reverse order. It is so much more difficult. It is so much more difficult to succeed now because they have a lot more responsibilities. So likewise, if someone gets saved at an older age and they have more baggage, they have more stuff to undo. They have to undo any psychological or philosophical uh, damage that they've taken from whatever public school system. Maybe they were part of some cult or other religion, false beliefs, deceit that they've been listening to all their lives, and they're going to think it's true. And then the Bible's going to have to undo that, and it's going to take more effort. It's going to take a lot more time for God to undo that damage. It can be done, and those people that do succeed like that, like former alcoholics, druggies, people in jail. Some of those tend to be like, I know one guy, like he's probably one of the best, like a great preacher, out of jail. And some people get saved in jail. Sometimes those people become some of the best missionaries, witnesses. Some of the best Christians ever are people with this dark past, but they had to put in so much effort to just get over that, because they do have all that baggage, and God, it takes time to fix that. So it's better to start young. Like it's never too late to become dedicated for the Lord and to do right. But the longer you wait, the longer you've been doing wrong, the harder it is going to be to do right, because um, everything has a consequence. Every action in life has a consequence. So if you've been lazy, careless, irresponsible your whole life, it's going to be hard to change that. You are going to have to work hard to change that because it is not natural. You are doing something that you have trained your body and your mind to not do right. You've trained your mind to do evil. And it's going to take time to fix that. It's going to take time to get on the right path, to do right, to do what God wants you to do. So it will take effort. So, yeah, so then that's all I can say. So, you want to be that dedicated student, and God might have to put you through some trials before you get there. But if you put in the effort, if you mean right, if you do well, if you have the right intentions, God will bless you in that. Anyway, so be a good student. I think I have like one more verse I wanted to read. Yeah, one more passage. Proverbs 21:5. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5. Proverbs 21:5. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. So, right, here's another important point. Diligence, it takes effort and time. Like if you want some quick results and take shortcuts, you'll get a bad result. Like I'm personally guilty of this. I like taking shortcuts. I always try to find the quickest way to solve a problem. And like sometimes that's great, but that's not how the Christian life necessarily works. A lot of times you need to put an effort, and you need to try really hard, and like you need to be there for the long haul. Like it takes time to get results, and you don't always see results in the Christian life. And anything you do for the Lord, like it might take years for it to work out. Like you might have to, like there might be someone you need to pray for them for like 20 years before they get saved. There might be someone else that gets saved like almost immediately. And so you can't always judge by results, because the results, that's not really up to you, that's up to God. So you put in the effort. It's up to God what the results turn out to be. So two people can do the exact same thing, and one of them, they're not going to see anything happen, and another one, they're going to have these amazing results. And that's just how life works. It doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means it's not time yet, but you did what God told you to do. If you know you did what God told you to do, then that's it. You can rest well at night. You did what you were supposed to. So remember, it's a slow, constant race. If you try to take shortcuts, it doesn't work. Like, these lazy, irresponsible students, they try to take shortcuts. They think they can pass the class with less effort, and it bites them, because then they end up failing, having to take it again. So if you do things the wrong way, if you do things not the way God intends for you to do them, you're just going to have to redo it again. If you don't learn your lesson, God's going to make you keep going through the same trial over and over again until you pass it. And if you do it the right way, if you do what God wanted you to do the first time, it's going to save you a lot of pain down the road, because if you try to take shortcuts, you're just going to have to do it all over again. And it just does not work. Shortcuts don't work in the Christian life. It just does not work. You're just going to have to do it again. God's going to make you do the same thing over and over again until you do it the right way. So anyway, I don't know what else I want to say here. So start early, be the dedicated student, and be confident, and yeah, do right. That's what I'm going to say. I think that just summarizes everything. So yeah, this is going to be a shorter video. I just wanted to wrap up the final topic. Is that you need to be dedicated. Also, let's see here. What did I write here? Not everyone gets a crown. Yes, not everyone gets a crown. So not everybody gets an A. Not everybody gets an A. When you stand before God, like, are you going to get an A? Or are you going to get a B, a C? You're in heaven. I guess you can say you passed. You passed the test. You trusted in Jesus Christ. So yeah, you made it to heaven. But are you going to be a good student? Are you going to have rewards in heaven for being doing what you were supposed to? Or are you going to be more of like a failure? You barely passed, satisfactory. You just have a passing grade. That's it. And yeah, it's great, it's passing, but you could have done better. You could have gotten some rewards. You could have. You won't have anything to be really glory over, I guess. But so the results are different. Everybody's going to get different results. Everybody puts in different effort. And so so it's up to you. Are you going to fear the Lord and do right, or are you just going to be lazy and irresponsible? So it's up to you. You have a finite life, you have finite resources, so just make sure you use them wisely. Anyway, that's it. Don't know what else to say. So think I'm done. So that should end this Bible study series. I've got, let's see, my next one. My next one I think is a good one. The job of the church. So that's going to be my next topic. I'm probably going to spend about 2 or 3 videos on that as well, about the job of the church. Glorify the Savior, evangelize sinners, edify the saints. So I'm going to get into that. Very important topic, because a lot of churches are not doing what they're supposed to be doing these days. They're not. They don't have the correct list of priorities. They don't have the right priorities, and they ignore very important things about the Christian life. So anyway, let's get to my next one. So yeah, so stay tuned.